please, like, don't do that. Like, there's nothing in it for us, right? I just, it's so difficult for me when we get calls from advisors and they were like, yeah, I made a mistake.
Welcome to Advisor Talk with Frank LaRosa. Brought to you by Elite Consulting Partners, it's the only podcast offering unfiltered guidance and direct advice for all things concerning financial advisors, RIAs, and the practitioners in the wealth management business. Learn more and subscribe today at eliteconsultingpartners.com/podcast. And now, here's your host, Frank LaRosa.
Hey everybody, welcome to Advisor Talk with Frank LaRosa. I'm your host, Frank LaRosa, and once again joined by my co-host, Stacey Frank. How you doing, Stacey? Welcome to the new year.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Happy to be back. Thank you for listening.
You notice I said welcome to the new year. I didn't say Happy New Year.
Oh, right, because I think there's a boundary that after January you're not allowed to say Happy New Year anymore, but you said after the first day, so agree to disagree.
After the first week of being back in the new year, it's just a new year, not Happy New Year.
Okay.
So anyway,
carry on.
For those of you that are joining us, we appreciate you following us. We appreciate the loyalty. For those that are new to our show, thank you for tuning in. We hope that this is valuable. The format of our show is very simple. We simply talk about things that are being talked about during the week. So it's sort of like live conversations. Things that are at the tip of advisors' minds and thoughts. And so today I wanted to talk about something and about a conversation I had yesterday with an advisor that has been trying to find, the perfect solution, the sort of the unicorn solution for his practice, where he wants to take chips off the table. He's still younger. He's in his 60s, so he still has a lot of runway to go, but wants to take chips off the table, wants to still work, wants to work with his clients, but maybe doesn't want to do all the heavy lifting. And the conversation we had yesterday was him thinking that he can sell his practice to a larger enterprise and then become a W-2 employee of that larger enterprise and just service and work with his clients. My response to him was, please God, don't do that.
Well, I think the thought process, because I've had many conversations with advisors very similar, I think the thought process is, well, I'll become W-2 so I don't have to deal with the operational side of the business anymore. I don't have to worry about certain things pertaining to the business. But in your mind, because we were talking about this before the show, what do you say to somebody that's their mindset? What's ahead for them if they take that approach?
Yeah, I think that the idea there is that there are other solutions that you can find and affiliate with, other options that you can affiliate with without that offload all of the heavy lifting, burdensome things that many advisors don't like dealing with, right? If we just take a step back, as advisors have gone from the W-2 space into the 1099 space, and they go from running a practice, and over time, they sort of blink and they have an enterprise business, right? They're doing multiple millions of dollars in production. They have billions of dollars in AUM. They have
staff to worry about.
Staff. All of a sudden, and then not to mention if they went RIA, right? Because now you have the compliance and all that stuff. So you went from in a blink of an eye, which could have been 10 years, but you sort of woke up after 10 years, and you went from where 80% of your day was spent working with your clients, finding new business, to where 50 or 60% of your day has nothing to do with your clients, right? It's operational, running the business, which some people love. I love the running the business side of things, right? But all of a sudden you wake up and you realize you're spending the bulk of your time not doing the thing that you loved while you got into the business because you've now bogged down with all those other things. And they think the solution is, I'll just become a W-2 employee again, but I'll have all this money and I can work with my clients and I'll be happy. And that is a major mistake. If you partly, and it's hard to quantify, but I've had enough conversations. Look, we move hundreds of advisors every single year, right? They move billions of dollars in assets every single year. And speaking as a business owner, I could never go work for somebody else again because I'm used to making my own decisions. operating how I want to operate. And even if you go and sell to a large enterprise where you're now a W-2 advisor to them and they tell you that you can do what you want, the reality is you can't.
Well, because now you have someone to report to.
There's an accountability there.
Right. Now you have a boss, maybe.
You have a boss,
Yeah.
right? And so as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, you have gotten used to not having that situation, right? Unless you're married, of course, and then your spouse is your boss, right? So at least that's how it works in my household.
Right. Happy wife.
So exactly. And so I just want to just talk about this because I think that's a big mistake that people make. And once you go down that road of selling your business, because we've had those conversations too, where an advisor already did it and they're coming to us to try to find a way to unwind what they did.
Too late.
Too late. And the
Unfortunately.
contracts are pretty solid. When you sell your business, because here's the other thing that happens. You sell your business to that firm. They don't deliver on what they said. They start putting pressure on you because they bought your practice. They need your practice to grow. And if you're not going to grow it at the rate that they want to grow it at, they're going to start having conversations with you about what are you doing? How many clients are you bringing in? What's your marketing plan? All of those things. And you're going to not be used to having somebody want to hold you accountable, right? Holding yourself accountable and having somebody else hold you accountable are two different things.
Right. So what are the things that an advisor that, let's say they were at a wirehouse firm
Yep.
and then went independent because they were sort of running away from some of those obligatory hurdles and production and have-tos and, being accountable to someone else. And now they own the business. So what are those specific things that they're maybe losing, that they're going to have to be worried about again?
Well, look, it's about, we use the term here, you're an outside cat, right? If you're someone that likes to be out and about and look face to face with clients and prospects, that's awesome. But you're doing it now because you want to do it. When you sell your practice to somebody else and they own it and they're expecting some type of return on their investment, you're going to feel this unspoken pressure to perform. You're most likely a good advisor, which is why you had a good business to sell. So you're going to be competitive, in your own right, and you're going to feel that pressure. And I'm not sure that you're going to like that pressure coming from somebody else, because you just may not want to operate at that pace anymore. Because the person that bought your business has a different long-term plan.
Yeah, an agenda, a timeline,
They have an
a
agenda.
culture.
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
They have an agenda.
Right.
And you need to now fit into that agenda, and you may not like it. And so my message is really just be careful about doing that. And the other component to that message, and this has to do with the M&A side as well, in terms of, I think I've been pretty outspoken about, you don't need to sell your business in order to monetize. In my
Maybe
mind.
you don't have to sell your business in order to slow down. You can do that more gradually and put certain people, human capital,
Right.
or processes in place.
Right, and that's where I was going with
Right.
it, right? You don't have to do it that way, right? Just be a better business owner, right? Take, if you're not going through coaching businesses, or you're not working, you're not reading books on leadership and business ownership, you need to dive deep into that stuff, because you can build your business better so that you can accomplish what you want by surrounding yourself with your team that allows you to do the things that you want, right? So so people might know Dan Sullivan. He runs a company called Strategic Coach. But one of the books that he wrote, which is an amazing book, is something called Who Not How. And that's all
Talk about that a lot,
right?
yeah.
We talk about that a lot, because in our world, here at Elite, right, we have a really strong management team, because each of us is a different who for the company.
Right. We have different strengths. We have
Right.
different jobs, and we're all rowing in the same direction, but seemingly having different components of it.
Right. And so
Different
the
parts.
principle behind who, not how, is not how am I going to free up more time so I can spend time with my kids, or I can spend time, whatever it is that you want to do at your stage of your life, right? I want to go race more cars. So how do I free up more time so I can go race cars, right? Just whatever. If you know me, then you know I like race
Play more
cars.
golf.
Right, play more. I don't like
Play more tennis.
Golf's a 4-letter word for me, so I don't use that word.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the question you should be asking yourself is, who can I surround myself with? Who can I hire that will give me the ability to go do what I want to do, right? So
in your retirement years, or your
in your retirement years,
your approaching retirement.
Right.
Years.
I mean, I'll tell you a story. The principle of this whole thing, and I'm saying to you this because I think that if you're thinking about retiring because you know retiring or selling, because in your mind the real reason that you're trying to do it is because you are burned out maybe a little bit about doing everything for the organization. You don't need to sell your company, right? Your company is a huge asset, and all you're really doing when you sell your business to somebody else is you're just paying yourself back with your own money. Because after 5-6 years, depending on the size of the deal and the multiple of the deal, your break even is 4, 5, 6 years. Mm-hmm. High multiple deals, it's maybe 7 years, right? So after 7 years, you would have been better off just holding on to the business and collecting the revenue off that business, just learn how to run it better, right?
Right.
But when I'm talking about that is I was hunting last year with a good friend of mine. We were in Idaho, and we're up on this mountain. We were like, I don't know, 8,000 feet. And it was middle of the day. We're having lunch, and we're sitting on this top of this hill overlooking this beautiful valley area. And we're just eating peanut butter and jelly and whatever, granola bars and stuff like that. The sun was out. It was beautiful. And you might remember this. And as we're on there, I'm using a Garmin because there was really no signal, so you have to use a satellite phone. And I'm texting with, at the time, my chief operating officer about what's going on this week, right? Like this came in, this advisor moved, and this person came in, we hired that person, and like he was just giving me stuff. I'm like, this is awesome. And so I looked at my friend, and his name is Brian. I said, Brian, I made a hand gesture about, like, see this area. I said, see what's happening right now. I said, this is my form of retirement, right?
Working from afar.
Working from afar because I have a strong team in place that is running the organization while I'm off the grid, right? I didn't have to sell my company to go do that. And so that's my message to advisors. Please, like, don't do that. Like, there's nothing in it for us, right? It's so difficult for me when we get calls from advisors and they were like, yeah, I made a mistake. Can I get out of this? Can I send you my contract?
That's hard to
take
unwind.
a look at it.
Yeah.
It's so hard to unwind.
Right.
Not only legally is it hard to unwind because there's usually things in there where you've given up the right to all those clients, right? And it's maybe a year or two later and you're like, okay, now what do I do? The other component of that I see all too often, because one of the first questions that I ask them is, do you have the money to give them back? And the answer is usually no.
Already spent. Ooh.
Right? You already paid the taxes on some of the money at least. And so it makes it very difficult to do. So this is really just sort of like, as we get into 2025, as like a warning, just please don't do those things. Have a conversation with someone like us that can at least help you walk through what you're trying to really get accomplished. Because what we do here, right, is we sort of like empower you as an advisor to make the right move, not just the next move. And what that means to us is diving deep. Again, which is one of the reasons why Stacey is so good at what she does is because she has a master's degree in psychology. So, because it really is about diving deep.
Right. There's a lot behind it. There's a lot of layers, a lot of components to making what could be a permanent decision for your business and your family and your clients. So what we like to do is take advisors through different categories of how you can sunset or find a successor or maybe never retire. Some advisors will say, I'm never retiring. I just want to build better efficiencies in my business. What should I be looking at? And allow us to at least take you through our defined process, which we're so proud of, to help you learn and help you make the right decision for yourself, because it ultimately rises to the surface. But you'll need our guidance to help you not make the wrong decision.
Right.
That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah, and because of all of our experience and the experience we have here as a firm and my 30 years of experience, we're going to ask you some uncomfortable questions because we really are trying to get to the root cause of why you're doing what you're doing or thinking about doing what you're doing, right? The idea is that we don't want you to necessarily do that. And look, ultimately, we have solutions for you if you do want to sell. We have those solutions, but there's all different variations of what that means.
Right, and I say to the advisors I work with, don't go with the route that is the most disruptive to the culture of your firm, to how you service your clients, to your investment choices, whatever it is. Allow us to sort of put the brakes on if, after speaking with you for weeks and weeks on end, we come across an option within our platform that is going to change things and turn your business upside down, when ultimately you're just looking for more time. We can get you there without disrupting your business.
It'd be a very simple solution.
Right.
So anyway, that's, to me, that was important. The conversation I had with this advisor yesterday, I was like, please don't do that. Like, you're going to be, I know this advisor, I've worked with him for a long time, and I know he would be miserable if he was underneath somebody else, even perceived as a W-2 employee. So just be mindful of what you're looking at. Have a conversation with a consultant like us, and we'd be happy to walk you through all of the available options so you can make an educated decision on what you want to do, and does it really match the real reason why you are having the conversation. So anyway,
awesome.
With that said,
great point.
Thanks for listening to us. Thanks for subscribing. If you have someone that's going through this emotional roller coaster right now, feel free to forward this to them. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
Have a great day. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to Advisor Talk with Frank LaRosa. If you're looking for more advice or solutions on any topics in the financial services industry, or you just want to subscribe to our podcast, head on over to eliteconsultingpartners.com/podcasts.